Get ready for our biggest Disney World tournament yet. Which EPCOT restaurant is the best of them all? We are putting every single one to the test in a big bracket showdown today here on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we are currently on the hunt for the best restaurants in Disney World. And what better place to find the best restaurant than at EPCOT, which has the most restaurants across all 4 parks. Now keep in mind that the winners for each round are going to be determined by the collective of the DFB team, not just one or two of us. So you don't have to worry about any biased decisions pushing on a particular restaurant or snack stand further into the competition. Makes things way more fair and interesting that way. Oh, and by the way, if you don't see your favorite EPCOT restaurant facing off in round 1, that means it has an automatic bye into round 2. All right, let the games begin. Round 1. First up, Joy of Tea versus Lotus Blossom. Okay, China Pavilion Throwdown. The Joy of Tea is a little drink kiosk where you can pick up tea, as well as boozy beverages and a pretty cheap pork egg roll snack. 2 for $6. The Lotus Blossom is a quick service that serves up pretty classic Chinese takeout dishes like orange chicken and chicken fried rice and stir-fried noodles and the like. They also have the exact same egg roll deal over there too. A meal at Lotus Blossom is going to be way more substantial, but you don't really go to Joy of Tea for a hearty lunch or dinner. You come here when you're parched and looking for a fun, unique beverage to help quench your thirst. Or you come here to order the Tipsy Ducks in Love, which is our favorite drink on the menu, made with bourbon and black tea, coffee, cream, and chocolate. Lotus Blossom isn't going to give you a super unique dining experience, but Joy of Tea certainly has unique beverages on offer that you're going to want to try during your drinking around the world adventure. We have a special place in our heart for Joy of Tea, so it's going to take this round. Next up, we got a battle of ice cream. L'Artisan de Glace versus Gelateria Toscana. So L'Artisan is located in the France Pavilion and serves 16 different flavors of house-made ice cream and sorbet. On top of that, it also has those specialty ice cream creations like ice cream martinis, macaron ice cream sandwiches, and our personal favorite, the Croque Glace, which is a brioche-pressed ice cream sandwich. Gelateria Toscana is over in the Italy Pavilion and serves 12 different varieties of gelato and sorbet, along with unique Italian-inspired desserts like gelato floats and mocha tiramisu, the affogato espresso gelato, which is fresh Italian espresso, poured over vanilla gelato, and served with amaretto cookies. Just because L'Artisan serves more flavors of ice cream than Gelateria doesn't make it the automatic winner. After all, Gelateria has more drink and float options on offer that World Showcase travelers might prefer to grab and take on the go. But Gelateria is a lot more expensive than L'Artisan, and that's not because the quality is better over here. It's just the Italy Pavilion has pretty pricey snacks, period. Not to mention, you're going to have a whole lot more creative freedom at L'Artisan when it comes to choosing your specialty ice cream creations. Each artisan special is made with your choice of ice cream, and if you order the Croque Glace, you'll get your choice of sauce to drizzle on top too. So I gotta give this one to France, L'Artisan de Glace. Rose and Crown Dining Room versus Sunshine Seasons. Okay, Rose and Crown in the UK Pavilion is known for its hearty comfort food, while Sunshine Seasons is known for its hearty food court variety. But which hearty restaurant is going to pull the win here? Sunshine Seasons builds a very strong case. It's inside the Land Pavilion, smack dab between 2 iconic EPCOT rides, Soarin' and Living with the Land, so you can easily eat your food and jump on these rides back to back right after. Or you can hit up the rides first and then get food, or you can hit up a ride, eat food, and then hit up another ride. Totally your call, and it's all under the same roof. Plus, they have that incredible pepperoni pizza roll here. It is so good. I love it. Now, Rose and Crown, on the other hand, this is my place to get bangers and mash. You can also get fish and chips here. It's a much more intimate dining room experience where the food is going to be higher quality, and if you time your visit right, you might be able to listen to live music while you eat. But the food at Rose and Crown is also more expensive than Sunshine Seasons, and the menu's a whole lot smaller than the massive variety you're going to find at Sunshine Seasons, and it's getting smaller and smaller. I've noticed that the Rose and Crown menu has been shrinking. Now, while Sunshine Seasons is a better option for bigger groups with a lot of different palates, the vibes at Rose and Crown pull the vote in its favor. Between the live music, beers on tap, cozy atmosphere, and high-quality entrees that won't necessarily drain your whole dining budget, Rose and Crown has safely secured its spot in round 2. Winner, Rose and Crown. So both Takumi Te in the Japan Pavilion and Monsieur Paul in the France Pavilion go beyond signature dining. These are the ultra fancy, ultra expensive restaurants where you will need to adhere to a dress code, prepare for a multi-hour dining experience with multiple courses, and make sure everyone in your group is old enough to be added onto the reservation. Guests must be 8 years or older to dine at Takumi Te, and they must be 10 years or older to dine at Monsieur Paul. Takumi Te is located, like I said, in the Japan Pavilion around the corner from the Mitsukoshi department store and features a prix-fixe menu consisting of 2 omakase multi-course meal options. The first one is omnivorous. It's a kiku meal for $250 per person with plates that include sashimi, soups, a wagyu beef roll, a selection of desserts, and more. And a plant-based hasu menu is also $250 per person. Monsieur Paul is located in the France Pavilion and progresses through 5 courses with the gastronomic meal of the French for $195 per person. Both restaurants are set within a sophisticated atmosphere, and if you time your reservation just right at Monsieur Paul, you might even be able to sit at a table with a window view of the luminous nighttime spectacular, those fireworks, which is pretty special. But really, this all comes down to food, because if you're spending this much money on an exquisite dining experience, then you probably expect some exquisite food. In the past, Takumi Te has really blown us away over and over again with the quality of their offerings. Plus, the atmosphere here is just very interesting. It's chill, it's relaxed, but it's also stunning. And the food has always tasted fresh and authentic and adventurous. Monsieur Paul is more of a hit or miss when it comes to consistent quality, which isn't quite what you want to hear when you're about to drop $200 per person on a nice meal. So the winner is going to be Takumi Te. Okay, we've made it to Refreshment Port versus Connections Eatery. So Refreshment Port is located on the right side of the World Showcase entrance, aka just before Canada. It's a hot spot for innovative poutine served during the EPCOT festivals. It's also got a variety of limited time beverages that it'll serve up to. Connections Eatery is in the World Showcase, and it's a big open space where quick service foods are served on one side and Starbucks branded drinks and snacks are served on the other. But we'll talk more about the Starbucks side of things later on. It'll get its own chance to fight in today's battle. Now, you know me, I'm a sucker for a loaded fry basket, and the fact that you can even get a classic poutine at Refreshment Port all year long makes me very, very happy. But Refreshment Port doesn't impress beyond that. There is no indoor seating, there isn't really any outdoor seating, and there isn't much else featured on the menu unless you hit it up on a good seasonal menu time. You're simply not going to get a full meal here like you will at Connections Eatery, and you're also not going to find tables and AC. So, Connections takes the victory because it certainly saved my rear end when I had a little kid who wouldn't eat anything but chicken tenders, but that doesn't mean I'll be skipping over Refreshment Port during my next visit. Winner though, Connections Eatery. Okay, Tepanito versus La Crêperie de Paris. Now, here's the great thing about both of these World Showcase table service restaurants. They're normally pretty easy to get a last-minute reservation for, since they're not really, as popular as some of the other table services inside EPCOT. But is there a reason for that? I mean, yeah, kind of. Tepanetto is a hibachi grill inside the Japan Pavilion. It's basically Benihana. Now, this restaurant has family-style seating placed around those large grills where you'll watch a personal chef prepare tempura meats and veggies while also putting on a show, showcasing their cooking talents. The food here tends to be really, really good, really fresh, just incredible, but it's nothing too terribly different from the hibachi restaurant you're going to have in your hometown or the next town over. La Crêperie de Paris is a table service restaurant focused on sweet crepes and savory galettes. While it tends to have more unique offerings than Tepanetto, the atmosphere is pretty boring. When you book a table at this one, your main focus is getting crepes and getting out of there. And yet, we're still going to have to give the win to La Crêperie this round since it offers a more unique option than you might find back home. It also gives you the ability to dine on a prix-fixe menu or an a la carte menu depending on how hungry you are. And it's an all-around newer restaurant to the EPCOT scene, which might be exactly the kind of place you're looking for. Okay, here's a couple of spots that most people don't even know exist. The Land Cart versus Oasis Sweets and Sips. Now, the Land Cart is, appropriately enough, right next to the Land Pavilion. Usually the options here are fairly sparse. There's items like your classic Mickey pretzel with cheese, not the glorious plastic cheese, that thicker cold cheese that's not nearly as satisfying that comes with that aluminum top on it, and a big pickle in a pouch. But around festival time, the Land Cart lets some of the festival items hang out on its menu too, which is more than the Oasis Sweets and Sips window over at the Morocco Pavilion can say. Then again, perhaps Oasis Sweets and Sips doesn't really need the festival offerings to make it more appealing. This window has Moroccan desserts and smoothies, slushies, and a variety of specialty beverages, both alcoholic and non. Now in the end, Oasis Sweets and Sips is going to serve up way more memorable snacks than what the land cart can provide, which is why it's moving on to the next round. Now here's two more that a lot of people don't even know exist, but I feel like there's a lot more benefit to knowing about these two than maybe the other two. Block & Hans versus Katsura Grill. Now Block & Hans could probably be considered more a permanent festival booth inside the American Adventure Pavilion than anything else. This is basically where you're going to find a variety of craft beers as well as a savory option or two. And by the way, we are pretty big fans of the brand new pretzel bites with beer cheese that recently debuted here, though we're not going to get too attached just in case they're only going to be available for a limited time. But if you're there when they are, definitely get them. Now Katsura Grill over in the Japan Pavilion, way up on kind of the second level of the pavilion, is more of a full-fledged quick service where you can get Japanese-inspired eats like sushi and teriyaki. Now, if you're more of a craft beer drinker, Block & Hans is going to be a better choice to hit up, just because the only beer option you're going to find at Katsura Grill is that Kirin or Sapporo. But Katsura's biggest defensive maneuver against Block & Hans isn't just the fact that it's a more expansive menu, but it also has a much more picturesque outdoor seating area amidst a beautiful Japanese stroll garden. Winner? Katsura Grill, by a lot. Okay, Italian Eats versus Italian Eats. Who's going to come out of this clash victorious? Pizza El Taglio is that pizza window right next to Via Napoli. It's a strong competitor that'll appear later on in round 2. Via Napoli, that is, not Pizza El Taglio. We'll see how she does. But the pizza served at Pizza El Taglio is not the same kind of pizza that you're going to get inside Via Napoli. Instead, this window serves up Sicilian-style slices with a square, thick crust. Tutto Italia Ristorante may not have pizza, but that table service restaurant does have a much bigger menu of Italian eats to choose from, like pastas and steaks, grilled swordfish with Sicilian tomato pesto, etc. Now, the food at Tutto Italia is good. The pizza at Pizza El Taglio is amazing. Definitely not your typical Disney puffy pizzas being served here, but Pizza El Taglio, not always open. This window opens very seasonally during busier times of the year, so while it'll probably be open most days of the week if you're visiting during summer vacation, not always guaranteed. But Tutto Italia is guaranteed. It's guaranteed to give you a variety of Italian options, even bigger variety of wines, and a seat in the AC to top it all off. So winner here is going to be Tutto Italia. Okay, crepes à emporter, I don't know how to say it. Importa, I don't know how to say it in French, please let me know, is a quick service window attached to La Crêperie de Paris, so you can probably guess what this place serves daily. Now over at Fife and Drum at the American Adventure Pavilion, you're going to find another permanent kiosk with staple Disney snacks like Mickey pretzels and popcorn hot dogs, root beer floats, and of course this is where you're going to get your jumbo turkey leg in EPCOT. If crepes aren't something you're too fond of, you're probably not going to be too thrilled to go out of your way to try crepes à emporter. Now Fife and Drum definitely has more of a snack variety that'll satisfy even the most picky eaters in your party. That all being said, crepes à emporter is unique and filling enough to be an affordable meal on its own. Plus they have brie. Anywhere that's got brie is a winner for me. I should get a t-shirt that says that. And it's also not going to be an overly filling meal, so you can grab a crepe as a light lunch from here that'll satisfy your grumbling stomach for now. And you'll still be able to taste test around other festival booths later on during the day. So the winner here is going to be the crepes. So another couple of little tiny spots. The refreshment station is a walk-up kiosk close to Test Track that serves frozen slushy drinks. But not just any frozen slushy drinks. These are customizable ones. No matter which slushy flavor you choose, you add whatever toppings you prefer. There's Pop Rocks and rock candy and gummy worms or whatever other candies are on offer that day. Meanwhile, over at the Canada Popcorn Cart, you're going to find both the classic buttered popcorn and the Canada-specific maple-flavored popcorn too. Now, as you know, we here at DFB love a flavored popcorn, especially if it's fresh and not pre-packaged. For those of you who are taking on the Drinking Around the World Challenge in EPCOT, Canada's Popcorn Cart also has an alcoholic beverage here called the Ottawa Apple that's created a cult following over the years. While I think kiddos are going to be much more excited about the offerings from the refreshment station, adults are probably going to prefer what the Canada Popcorn Cart has to offer. And something tells me kiddos will still be pretty happy with a box full of popcorn. So winner is, of course, that iconic Canada Popcorn Cart. Ooh, this next one is going to be very, very, very hard. Les Vins de Chefs de France and Chose de Margarita. Time to get our drink on. Okay, so Les Vins de Chefs de France may not have a huge menu, but their refreshing and tasty adult slushies are cult classics in EPCOT. Year-round, you can find that Grand Marnier orange slush and the Grey Goose citron lemon slush, but keep an eye out for seasonal slushie options too. By the way, you can supersize any of these slushes as well, so you can always get an extra shot in there and a bigger slushie in general. By the way, and I just realized this after 15 years of doing this blog, you can ask them for a mix of the two slushes, and I always have a hard time deciding which one I want, so I love that you can mix the two. Anyway, Chose de Margarita over in the Mexico Pavilion has another type of frozen adult beverage on offer. I'm going to give you 3 guesses for what it is. The first 2 guesses don't count. Chose Margarita serves shock and awe frozen margs and margs on the rocks and a small selection of Mexican-inspired snacks too. Chose is going to have more of a drink and food variety that the whole family can enjoy, but here's the thing. La Cava del Tequila, another contender you're going to see pop up in round 2, is literally steps away from Chose de Margarita. And it's going to have a better handcrafted margarita than what you'll find at Chose. Even though it's the same mixology group and pretty much similar menus, you're going to have more options and a better margarita over there at La Cava. But at Les Vins, the only place you're going to find those particular adult slushies is at this specific France Pavilion kiosk. So thanks to its one-of-a-kind star status, Les Vins is going to move on to round 2. I know, this is a bit of an upset, I'm aware, but we're going to stick with it. Okay, La Cantina de Saint Angel versus Connections Cafe. So I told you Connections Cafe would be back in the mix. It's up against a worthy competitor today, La Cantina de Saint Angel, right across from Chose de Margarita, by the way, in the Mexico Pavilion. So La Cantina serves up a quick service, Mexican-inspired drink and eat menu, and Connections Cafe is basically your Starbucks. It's really, really easy to default to Connections Cafe. There is comfort in the familiar, and there's comfort in sitting in the AC and being able to juice up your phone at one of the various charging tables here. But there's also something to be said about the atmosphere at La Cantina. Picture this, you get some tacos, you get some churros, you find a table next to the World Showcase Lagoon, and you just soak in the fact that you are here having a fun-filled day at EPCOT. And hey, if it's too hot to really appreciate that outdoor covered seating, sometimes La Cantina opens up a section of seating inside La Hacienda before the table service restaurant opens up for dinner to give more seating options for guests. So not only does La Cantina offer you cheaper EPCOT Mexican cuisine, but also cheaper Mexican cuisine that could still very well land you in a cozy and air-conditioned dining room. Also, let's not forget the incredible view of the fireworks from the Cantina de San Angel seating area. Just epic. So winner here is going to be La Cantina. Sorry, Starbucks. Okay, we're back in the Mexico Pavilion yet again. San Angel Inn Restaurante versus Coral Reef. Both of these table services have completely different vibes, yet 2 strong similarities. San Angel Inn is situated inside the Mexico Pavilion in that big pyramid, and it's a dimly lit restaurant that takes on the night market atmosphere and gives you an impressive look at the towering Mayan pyramid inside the pyramid. Also the smoking volcano, which has a hidden Mickey that comes out of it, and the Grand Fiesta Tour boat ride, which has a section that floats right past the dining area. Coral Reef Restaurant, which is over in the Seas Pavilion, is lined with massive windows that peer into the giant indoor living seas aquarium. So during your meal, you'll be able to watch the 2,000 plus sea creatures swim around the tank, living their best sea creature life. And yes, it's a little weird that you're probably eating seafood and watching seafood, but don't think about it too much. Now, San Angel Inn definitely has more of a romantic vibe, but kids will probably get a bigger kick out of watching the fish swim around in the tank. That being said, we've had way more luck with food quality at San Angel, even though it is still kind of unreliable and inconsistent. It's a lot more reliable than Coral Reef, which just kind of goes to show you how unreliable Coral Reef can be. While San Angel Inn might not always hit it out of the ballpark, you're more than likely to have a higher chance of enjoying the entire dining experience here than just half of it. So winner, San Angel. Oh, this is an interesting battle of the underdogs. Spice Road Table versus Nine Dragons. So Spice Road Table is a table service inspired by outdoor cafes from the Moroccan seaside with a heavy focus on small plates and tapas. And Nine Dragons is another table service decked out with intricate Chinese decor like jade walls and colorful lanterns, glass dragons with elevated Chinese-inspired dishes on its menu. When it comes to uniqueness, Nine Dragons does a good job of switching out their menu frequently to offer different appetizers appetizers and entrees and drinks that'll help add variety to your meal. But really, Spice Road Table is just as unique as they come. This is one of the only places in Disney World that offers a Mediterranean-inspired menu with options like hummus fries, pomegranate chili crispy cauliflower, spice lamb kefta, and more. Now, while Nine Dragons might be a little bit more reminiscent of other Chinese restaurants out there, the whole Spice Road Table experience is kind of one of a kind, especially when you're on vacation in Disney World. Winner, Spice Road Table. Okay, Kabuki Cafe versus Kringla Bakery Ogg Cafe. Now, Kabuki is where you're going to find kakigori, which is a shaved ice treat topped with fruit syrup and sweetened with condensed milk if you so desire. It is, of course, over there in the Japan Pavilion right on the promenade. Kringla Bakery Ogg Cafe is a Norwegian-themed bakery in the Norway Pavilion that makes fresh pastries daily, much like the classic DFB favorite, the school bread, which is a sweet roll filled with custard and dipped in coconut, very cardamom-focused. Kringla Bakery also serves beers and coffee beverages, which can be spiked or served without the booze. Now, when you're looking for a treat that's light and refreshing, Kabuki Cafe might be your go-to for all those specialty shave ice offerings. It might also be more of a priority snack location if you're looking for a savory snack, since Kringla Bakery is seriously lacking in that department, though they do have some sandwiches and things on the menu. Kringla Bakery is definitely something special, at least when it comes to my personal experience and that of our DFB team. It's got a little covered seating area where you can enjoy your pastries and drinks. It's open during breakfast, so you can ride on Frozen Ever After first, then grab a morning treat from Kringla next. And that frozen Viking coffee they serve is one of our favorite boozy beverages in the park. Plus, they're going to serve things that you really can't get anywhere else, at least not in Disney World. Very unique stuff. And to be fair, you can get shave ice at several places in Disney World. So loving that Norway bakery vibe, and Kringla is going to move forward. And we've made it to the last matchup of the round, the funnel cake stand versus refreshment outpost. Okay, funnel cake. This leaves nothing to the imagination. Funnel cake is what you see, what you get. The specialty funnel cakes served here during the festivals are always a lot of fun to taste test with your group, but sometimes they're hit or miss. So just a heads up on that. Now, don't forget this is over in the American Adventure Pavilion. Then there's refreshment outpost, which you're going to find on the path between the China Pavilion and the Germany Pavilion. It's kind of in that little Africa area. Refreshment Outpost also features one or two specialty festival items with each passing fest season, but year-round it's more of a stop for frozen treats and drinks. Sometimes there's a hot dog. While I've enjoyed quite a few of the frozen drinks at Refreshment Outpost in the past, the Mango Star being one of the highlights, the DFB team tends to get more excited about the latest funnel cakes on the scene versus the latest new festival items at Refreshment Outpost, which usually don't make too much of a splash. So the winner here is going to be that funnel cake kiosk because, like I said, hit or miss, sometimes it's a hit. Okay, the competition has only just begun. We're getting some new competitors added in round 2 here who are going to face off against the restaurants and snack stands that dominated in round 1. Time to find out who's going to make it to the next leg of this race and who's going to be left behind. If you are interested in learning even more about the DFB team's favorite snacks across each of the Disney World parks, as well as where you'll be able to find them once you're there, then go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen right now. Or if you're watching this on your phone, head to disneyfoodblog.com/best snacks after this, and we'll send you our free Best Snacks in Disney World guide, complete with detailed snack maps, so you can find our favorite snacks no matter where you go in Disney World. I love this. I guess it's a freebie. It's one of my favorites. I think it's really, really useful, and I'm always a huge fan of figuring out where the best snacks are. Okay, we are back to round 2. Here we go. Garden Grill versus Joy of Tea. Yep, here they come. A new wave of restaurants and snack locations are bursting into round 2. By the end of this round, you're going to realize just how many places there are to eat in EPCOT, and that's still not including any of the temporary festival booths that pop up seasonally too. So Garden Grill is that table service restaurant situated on the 2nd floor of the Land Pavilion, and there is a lot going on here. There's family style, all you care to enjoy home style eats, character meet and greets with Farmer Mickey and Pluto and Chip and Dale, and a dining room that slowly rotates while you munch away on your breakfast, lunch, or dinner, giving you the chance to see the Living with the Land ride happening down below from a whole new vantage point. Now, you are going to have to pay a pretty penny to eat here. Not as pretty a penny as you have to pay to eat at like Cinderella's Royal Table or some of the more, should I say, high-profile character meals, but still a pretty penny, and you're not going to have to worry about that when you visit Joy of Tea. tea. But even with those arguments backing it up, Joy of Tea is going to have to take a step away from the competition so that Garden Grill can step in and step up. You guys know how much I love Garden Grill. Winner, Garden Grill. So a perfect evening in World Showcase starts with dinner at Rose and Crown and ends with dessert at L'Artisan de Glace. But we're not playing that kind of game today. We can only choose one. Rose and Crown's cut down on a lot of their offerings over the years. Currently, it only serves 4 different entrees, one of which is the plant-based savory Impossible Hot Pot. But don't forget, they still have my bangers and mash, and that's all I really care about. And I know that a lot of you really care about is that incredible fish and chips. Anyway, Rose and Crown is also only available during dinner time right now. If you're in the mood for something cool, icy, and sweet though, L'Artisan is open pretty much all day long from noon to 9. And yet, even with its more limited menu and limited hours, Rose and Crown still serves up the very thing you might be searching for, an authentic Irish pub experience. L'Artisan has some of my favorite ice cream treats, but Rose and Crown serves up the true comfort, and that's hard to sacrifice. Winner, Rose and Crown. Ooh, Chefs de France versus Takumite. While Takumite is known for being ultra fancy, Chefs de France is known for being the casual Friday version of fancy. While the dining room setting is still sophisticated and cozy at Chefs de France, there's no formal dress code, no age limit, no multi-hour long dinner, and you have the option to spend as much or as little money as you want to. We've come here in the past just to order the French onion soup and be on our merry little way after that, keeping costs low, but still having a satisfying meal with complimentary bread too. But we've also had dinners where we decide to splurge a little and order multiple apps and entrees, desserts, fancy drinks, you name it. They're basically okay with either way. If you're big on eating the best food you can find in a theme park and you're okay with spending however much money you need to in order to make that happen, then your best bet is still going to be Takumite though. Takumite isn't necessarily a realistic dining option for most families, though, who A, are traveling with younger kids, B, are dining on a budget, or C, only have a limited time in the parks as is and don't want to spend 4 hours eating at just one restaurant, even if that restaurant is really, really good. So for those reasons, and for the fact that Chefs de France is legitimately a solid table service inside the World Showcase, we're going to move Chefs de France on to round 3. Are we saying that Chefs de France is the same level of quality food? No, but we're saying that it is giving you probably a better value in terms of what most people are looking for in the World Showcase. Okay, we're seeing Biergarten in the mix for the first time. Biergarten versus Connections Eatery. So both of these restaurants have big personalities, but which one is going to secure the big win? Biergarten is a German-inspired buffet set inside a German village that's getting ready to party the night away with music and dancing and lots of prosting and Oktoberfest. Biergarten is not for everyone, especially those who are looking for a lighter meal or those who tend to lean more towards the introverted side of things. The music is upbeat and loud, guests are standing up left and right to make a beeline for the buffet or over to the dance floor, and due to the community seating setup, there is the potential that you're going to be seated next to people you don't know and have to sit at the same table as them. So, should you sacrifice a meal at Biergarten for a meal at Connections Eatery? Well, you're not going to find any live entertainment at Connections, and the setting's not exactly quiet here either. In fact, things can get pretty poppin' during lunch and dinner. So if you've got some picky eaters in your party, then Connections Eatery is probably still the way to go. But if you're ready for a lot of hearty German food and liter beers and lederhosen wearing accordion players, then Biergarten is going to be the true key to your heart. Winner for us, though, is Biergarten today. How will Le Crêperie hold up when Disney princesses enter the chat? Right? Akershus Royal Banquet Hall might not take place inside Cinderella Castle like Cinderella's Royal Table does in Magic Kingdom, but it still takes place in a castle, and it still gives you the opportunity to meet several of the princesses while you dine on all you care to enjoy family-style Norwegian food, and some more familiar sides and entrees too, that the little ones might enjoy even more. Le Crêperie is going to be your more affordable option of the two restaurants, and if you're not big into the character scene, or if you've already met the characters you want to earlier on your trip, then you might not feel too compelled to choose Akershus and drop all that cash on endless eats, especially if you're wanting to save some room for the festival booths too. That being said, Akershus dining room theming blows Le Crêperie's dining room away. While Le Crêperie feels more like you're just eating at some restaurant on vacation, Akershus reminds you all meal long that you're eating in Disney World. Not to mention, if you weren't able to get advanced dining reservations for Cinderella's Royal Table, Akershus is a great plan B key to fall back on. You're still going to get the royal treatment, complete with princesses and castle decor, plus you're going to get more food for a cheaper price point. Winner is Akershus. Okay, we promised you Via Napoli would be back, and here it is. Via Napoli specializes in brick oven pizza. Really, really big, really good brick oven pizza. Is Via Napoli going to give you a bite on the go like Oasis will? No. Will it be less expensive than what you're getting at Oasis? No. Is Oasis still the queen of affordable Moroccan pastries and frozen mint tea? Absolutely. Via Napoli has a few other items on the menu, but pizza is where it shines the brightest. However, my favorite thing to get is the appetizer on the kids menu, which is the fried mozzarella. It's really good here. I don't know why. It's just really good. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. In a whole world showcase of unique, internationally inspired options, Via Napoli might still feel a little too familiar versus the pistachio baklava and almond crescent cookie and other adventurous Oasis goodies in the bakery display case. That being said, Via Napoli is one of the best high-quality options that'll help you feed a whole group, even if it is a little pricey for what it is. If you've got picky eaters or adventurous eaters, Via Napoli will probably deliver. You can always get a classic cheese or pepperoni, make the masses happy, or you could branch out and get something pretty unique to the pizza realm. Oasis pastries are a great grab-and-go snack, but they're no match against a mezzo metro-sized pizza from Via Napoli. And those mozzarellas. Winner, Via Napoli. Oh, we got another big contender entering the situation right now. Space 220 is here. Space 220 versus Katsura Grill. Interesting. We've got an interstellar dining room versus a Japanese stroll garden. This is a matchup I never expected to see happen on this channel. Space 220 is going to take you 220 miles above EPCOT via Stellavator, so you can dine on a variety of eats inside the Centauri space station, which has an epic view over Earth. The biggest appeal of Space 220 is that interactive pre-show element where you're launched into space, leading you up to the moment you step inside the dining room and witness that big "I'm in space" reveal. If you make reservations for the main dining area for lunch or dinner, you're going to be paying a hefty price point for a prix meal. Yep, if we boil it down to brass tacks, that's the situation. Super, super expensive restaurant. Food is okay, but the atmosphere is incredible, right? You can keep the cost much lower at Space 220 and still get to visit space if you book a reservation for the lounge instead, or if you put your name on the walk-up wait list for the bar. The lounge and bar are available for all ages and give you the opportunity to order from a selection of flight bites and drinks via the a la carte fashion. But I'm going to be super real with y'all. If it weren't for that lounge and bar option, Space 220 might have struggled against Katsura Grill, because that $79 price tag for dinner, I could just spend $9 more and get a meal at Cinderella's Royal Table for that price. But really, Katsura Grill just can't compete with the whole Space 220 package. Sometimes I'd much prefer dining inside a Japanese stroll garden versus, space. But if you're looking for the most unique, most immersive dining experience inside Epcot, Katsura Grill isn't going to be that for you. Winner, Space 220. Okay, as we established earlier, there's a lot to love about Tutto Italia, from its attached wine cellar to its variety of Italian dishes to its calm and collected dining room setting. Very, very sophisticated in here. It's not fancy, but it's definitely like you are dining in a place where you're going to have to use, like manners and stuff. But La Hacienda de San Angel isn't just going to roll over and accept defeat. At this sit-down restaurant, you'll be served fresh Mexican dishes, including skillets and tacos and fresh corn tortillas and my favorite corn soup in the whole wide world, and a variety of margaritas. Not to mention, if you book a reservation here later on in the evening, you might be able to watch the luminous fireworks if you're able to get a seat next to one of those elongated dining room windows. The coziness of La Hacienda competes with the coziness of Tutto Italia, and the quality of cuisine at La Hacienda definitely competes with the quality at Tutto Italia. These are very, very well matched contenders, but I think we're going to go with La Hacienda in this one because of 1, incredible corn soup, and 2, the fireworks views. Winner, La Hacienda. Oh boy, Le Cellier has arrived, my friends. So this matchup has crepes and cider, poutine and cheesy soup. This is maybe more of a battle than the DFB team can stomach, but don't worry, we are going to get through it. So Le Cellier in the Canada Pavilion has long been a contender for my favorite restaurant in Epcot. I have always loved this restaurant, and when I'm in Epcot and get a chance to just eat where I want to, Le Cellier is always at the top of the list for me. It's set inside a very cozy wine cellar, and by cozy, I mean it's real small in there, which is why reservations can book up for it quickly. Well, that and the fact that the food's really good. From the Canadian cheddar cheese soup to the signature poutine to the artisan cheese plates, profiteroles, boutique collection of artisanal chocolates, maple cookies, macarons. Don't even get me started on the steakhouse cuts. Probably some of the best steak you're going to get in a theme park. Now, crêpes d'Emporter is going to be a better option if you're on a time crunch, or if you've got younger members in your group who don't want to take a chunk out of their EPCOT day to go dine on high-quality food for over an hour in a romantic, dimly lit dining room. I get it. Give your kid a ham and cheese crepe and they're fed and satisfied, and we didn't have to drop a whole bunch of money to make it happen. But sorry, Le Cellier Steakhouse is the whole package. It always has been. It's inviting, the service is great, the food rarely misses the mark, and it's the big winner of this round, Le Cellier. You know what this list has been missing? Muppets representation. So let's fix that by adding a new competitor into the ring, the Regal Eagle Smokehouse. May be confusing as to who the Regal Eagle is, but it is none other than Sam Eagle from the Muppets, who's gathered all the pitmasters across the USA to compete in a centennial cook-off to see who has the best barbecue of the bunch. But here's the thing, your vote is the only one that matters here. You're not going to find maple popcorn at Regal Eagle, but you are going to find spirits and sauces and a whole lot of seating and AC. And the Canada Popcorn Cart unfortunately can't compete against that. Winner is Regal Eagle in this one. Okay, once again, Levin's is going up against another margarita location. And if you can recall, the reason Choza was knocked out before was because La Cava existed in the first place. So the question is, can La Cava triumph over Levin's? Or are these frozen French slushies still going to come away with the W this round? La Cava del Tequila is best known for its wide variety of handcrafted margaritas and rare top-shelf tequilas. They also have chips and queso, so that's an added bonus for them, because this is probably some of my favorite queso in the whole wide world. I don't know why. I live in Texas. We have lots of queso here, but this is really good queso. Because La Cava is such a tiny location, the walk-up wait list gets long fast, so you might find yourself waiting quite a while before a table opens up for you. You do always have the option of going up to the La Cava window and ordering a marg to take on the go, but that line gets pretty lengthy too. At the beginning of the day, when the place first opens on a busy day, that line can stretch almost outside of the Mexico Pavilion. It gets real long. But I think those large crowds are just a testament to how good these margaritas really are. They are very good, they are unique, they're always changing up the situation over here at La Cava. Believe me, they love their tequila. They love exploring different tequila brands. These mixologists are experts, and I love that we can get that kind of expert knowledge in the middle of a theme park. It's what makes me love Disney World so much. Now, unlike Levin's, where the drinks are pre-mixed, each margarita at La Cava is handcrafted right there in the bar. You got classic marg options, spicy marg options, even limited edition celebrity marg options. So let me just put it this way. Most days there's a higher chance I'm going to wait in line for a margarita at La Cava del Tequila versus wait in line for a ride. Winner is La Cava. Besides a few basic drink options, Yorkshire County Fish Shop has one item on the menu. Just one. The fish and chips. Just one basket of fish and chips really holds a candle to the variety of Mexican fare available at La Cantina de San Angel. I mean, you've got fish and chips versus churros, tacos, margaritas, and some pretty fun fireworks views. Well, what if I told you it was really, really good fish and chips? A big selling point for Yorkshire is the fact that you can get a basket of fish and chips similar to what you can get in Rose and Crown for a much cheaper price point. We're talking $13 instead of $31. And since we've already established that we're pretty fond of the Rose and Crown dining room, the fact that you can get on par Rose and Crown food right next door at the neighboring Yorkshire window gets two big thumbs up from us. Sorry, La Cantina. The winner here is going to be Yorkshire County Fish Shop. I don't know. It's just a cult favorite. Okay, Leal Boulangerie Patisserie versus San Helen Restaurante. So we got France versus Mexico here. Now, the France Pavilion as a whole has been a force to be reckoned with in today's competition, but then again, the Mexico Pavilion has had some pretty satisfying victories too. Leal, though, is a quick service that specializes in baked goods, both sweet and savory. There's really not a whole lot of seating well, there is quite a bit of seating inside Leal, but it goes so fast that it almost feels like there's not a lot of seating because When this place is busy, it is busy, busy, busy. Now, outside of Leal, you got a couple of little tables, but nothing to count on. So if you want to sit and munch on your quiche and baguettes and pastries, then I would say don't rely on ample seating, but if you go during a downtime at Leal, then you will find a table probably. I know, that's probably not helpful. Anyway, San Ellen, on the other hand, is a guaranteed seat in the AC. Not only that, it's a guaranteed seat in the AC with one of the most breathtaking views of the park. Now, Leal is a DFB must-do almost every time we're here. It's no secret that Disney food is super expensive, but at Leal, it's a lot less so for some reason. You can get a croissant sandwich for $7, a hearty lobster bisque and a bread bowl for $8. Quiche is $8 to $10 as opposed to similar quiche offerings at like the Cake Bake Shop that's going to be $29. You can even get a full-sized baguette for under $5. So this is like this little gem of decent pricing in EPCOT. Now, even though you're paying less for the food at Leal, you're not getting lesser quality items. The stuff featured in the bakery display case can satisfy sweet and savory cravings alike, and it's really, really good, authentic French patisserie stuff. So, yep, I'm gonna take the seat struggle any day if it means getting another cheesy pastry from Leal. Winner here, Leal Boulangerie Patisserie. So earlier on in the competition, Spice Road Table was able to push its way into round 2 thanks to its unique small plates and tapas. But it's not the only table service that's going to serve up unique stuff in an impressive setting. Shiki Sai can play that game too. This is the newest restaurant on the EPCOT scene for now, where you're going to be able to enjoy Japanese izakaya, which is a type of casual pub-style restaurant that puts an emphasis on drinks and conversations, appetizers, and fun with friends. And yes, this did replace Tokyo dining up there in the Japan Pavilion. The Shiki Sai menu is a whole lot bigger than what you're going to find at Spice Road. We're talking nigiris, sashimi, donburi, takoyaki, tempura, udon, kids' bento boxes, and of course that $300 sushi boat. Basically, it's kind of like what I said about Chefs de France earlier. You can eat as much or as little as you want here and still walk away satisfied. While Spice Road Table still might offer a few more unique selections than what you're used to seeing served at your restaurants back home, those traveling with kiddos and pickier eaters might have an easier time convincing the group to try Shiki Sai versus Spice Road Table, since Shiki Sai gives you a chance to step outside your dining comfort zone without pushing you right into the deep end. Winner, Shiki Sai. Oh boy, I have been very, very nervous that this matchup would come to pass. We have Caramel Kusha in Germany versus Kringla Bakery Cafe in Norway. These are two of my favorite snack locations in all of EPCOT, and I basically have this battle going on in my head all the time, every day, all day. You'll smell Caramel Kusha in Germany before you see it. It's a warm, fresh caramel aroma. It's going to entice you through the doors of this little sweet shop, beckoning you to try one of those freshly made cookie sandwiches, cupcakes, caramel squares, butter bars, whatever else they might have on offer that day. Again, all of this is made fresh in the shop. Caramel Kusha has a much wider selection of desserts that you can order each day versus the fairly limited menu that Kringla Bakery has. Plus, you can order Caramel Kusha items via mobile order on the My Disney Experience app, which is a huge plus because the line here gets really, really long. But this place isn't really going to give you your breakfast fix, nor will it give you your coffee fix. You're going to have to go to Kringla Bakery if you're still looking for that morning comfort. But I must say, this decision had the DFB team very, very split. When all is said and done, though, it's hard to pull away from the ooey gooey caramel glory of Caramel Kusha. So, winner, Germany. Okay, we got Funnel Cake versus Summerfest. Now, the Funnel Cake kiosk is about to take on its biggest challenge yet, the Summerfest pretzel bread pudding. Okay, so there are other things you can order at Summerfest too, like the pink grapefruit Hefeweizen, bratwurst, and the jumbo-sized pretzels. Sadly, the noodle gratin is not back here on the menu yet, although I keep looking every single time I'm in EPCOT. Now, the $5 pretzel bread pudding, though, is the real star of the Germany Pavilion quick service right now, since my noodle gratin is still MIA. But how does that compare to EPCOT's variety of funnel cake? Well, the pretzel bread pudding isn't as big as the funnel cakes are, and you're not going to have seasonal pretzel bread varieties for each of the festivals, though that would be really awesome, Disney, if you're listening. However, the quality of the pretzel bread seems to be more consistent. Not to mention, it's a more affordable dessert that's easy to share, but also just as easy to not share. So winner is going to be Summerfest. All right, we have made it to round 3. The tension is thick amongst the remaining EPCOT restaurants, but here's what I'll say about round 3. No matter who moves on in the competition and who ends their run before making it to the semifinals, these are all solid meal and snack options that could be a great fit for your family. The DFB team and I all agree, and that's what this whole video is about anyway, right? Finding you the best possible places to eat in EPCOT so you're not wasting your money when you're there. So everything from here on out in the video is going to be good, solid stuff. Speaking of which, much like today's competition is built around the opinions and reasonings from our entire DFB team, this is also how we've built our entire DFB guide to Walt Disney World dining. Multiple members of the team review each Disney World restaurant, giving us a chance to list out each restaurant's pros and cons based on all our different perspectives. So you've got moms of toddlers, you've got newlywed couples, you've got solo travelers, you've got people that have been going to Disney World for 70 years. Everybody on the DFB team has a different perspective, and we're bringing them all to figure out what makes each of these restaurants unique and special so you can see which one's right for you and your family. So if you want to check out our dining guide, be sure to hit up dfbstore.com after this. Don't forget to use our code YouTube to save some money on your purchase. And remember, books are 100% money back guaranteed. If you don't want that guide, if it's not working for you, no worries, you'll get your money back. All right, back to the competition. There can only be one winner, so let's venture on to find out who that's gonna be. We are entering round 3. Oh, this one's going to be tough. We have got Garden Grill versus Rose and Crown, 2 of my favorite restaurants in EPCOT. And watch, I bet one of these is probably going to have to go up against Le Cellier. Anyway, one cozy restaurant is going to have to be cut after this battle. It's necessary, but it's going to hurt me nonetheless. Both of these EPCOT sit-down meals are going to be nice and easygoing, but the added element of the slow-turning dining room and character meet and greets make Garden Grill that much more appealing, at least to us. If you missed out on Rose and Crown during your EPCOT day, that's a bummer, but you can always hit up Raglan Road in Disney Springs for a similar feel and similar eats too. But if you miss out on Garden Grill, there's no other restaurant on Disney property that's going to spin around and let you meet Mickey Mouse while he's wearing overalls. So, winner, Garden Grill. In one corner, we got the subtle sophistication of Chefs de France, and in the other corner, we got the zero sophistication, but all the fun of Beer Garden. So while I sure do love getting seated next to one of the Chefs de France windows to do some people watching during my meal, don't deny that's not an entertainment, especially in Disney. The people watching vibes are even better when you're seeing them show off their moves on the dance floor while German musicians play back-to-back polka tunes. Chefs de France, wait for me, because I will be back for your pasta and your bread and your French onion soup, but the DFB team has decided it's got to be the year-round Oktoberfest dining experience that moves on in today's competition. Will the pizza ovens of Via Napoli beat out the princesses of Akershus, or will it be the other way around? For lunch and dinner, Akershus offers those unique Norwegian specialties like I briefly mentioned before. There's stuff like Norwegian meatballs and seared salmon and chicken with apple fennel preserves and stuff like that. To be fair, while your kiddos are going to love the characters at Akershus, some of the food options might be a little too out of their comfort zone, unlike pizza, which is almost always in a kid's comfort zone. But you can also reserve a table to eat at Akershus during breakfast. Not only will Akershus breakfast give you an even cheaper way to meet all these princesses in one setting, but it also lets you dine on a spread of morning eats that might be a little less adventurous for more picky eaters. Unfortunately, it's socially unacceptable to eat a full pizza pie before 11 a.m., I guess, so Via Napoli sticks with what it knows best, pizza during lunch and dinner only. Due to the variety and the characters and the castle, Akershus has yet again secured its win. I know, kind of an upset. Akershus is the winner. Now, honestly, there's quite a bit of food on the La Hacienda menu that I like a whole lot better than what's available on the Space 220 prefix menu. And that La Hacienda fireworks view is hard to beat. But not everyone who eats at La Hacienda is guaranteed window seating for the fireworks. You can always ask and see if it's going to be available during your visit, but there's a fair chance that the host up front might say, sorry, those tables are filled. However, when you go to Space 220, everybody has a view of space. Yep, the bar seats are technically facing away from the space station windows, but the seats do swivel around so you can easily catch a glimpse of Earth, as well as those floating little astronaut dudes and other spaceships whenever you feel like it. The interstellar atmosphere of Space 220 continues to move it forward in today's competition, but we still gotta respect the La Hacienda definitely fought the good fight. Ooh, we got the battle of meat versus meat here. Le Cellier versus Regal Eagle Smokehouse. This is a very fancy table service restaurant versus a Muppets-themed counter service restaurant. You may not think this is a difficult conundrum, but I definitely do. The meat-based dishes at both Le Cellier and Regal Eagle are going to be great for the carnivores of your group, but if you really want to impress your fellow carnivores, Regal Eagle might save you money in the long run, but the money you spend on Le Cellier to get a theme park steak that'll blow your mind is an investment worthy of the splurge. Plus, ice wine, cheddar cheese soup, poutine, it's just all there, folks. It's all there. So I'm going to have to give this one to Le Cellier just because if I had to choose between these two, I'd probably end up at Le Cellier. Not going to lie. So I don't know about you, but fish and chips with a margarita on the side sounds like a pretty good Epcot day to me. But when it comes to high quality margs, killer queso, comfortable vibes, albeit a little snug at times, and expert staff, then La Cava is a high quality hangout that we're going to have to sacrifice a basket of fish and chips for in this particular round. So La Cava del Tequila against Yorkshire County Fish Shop. La Cava's going to take the win. La Cava and its AC. There's no shortage of food options at either Leal or Shiki Sai. These are both going to be solid restaurant choices that'll help cater to a variety of different palate preferences amongst your group. But much like we had to do during the Battle of Akershus versus Via Napoli just now, I think we got to look at breakfast again. You see, breakfast exists in Epcot, but there's not a whole lot of quick breakfast options to choose from. Thanks to Leal's very existence, however, we don't need a whole lot of other breakfast options because practically everything you want to eat in the morning is served right here as a grab-and-go choice. They even have coffee and lattes and espressos and cappuccinos and hot tea for all of us non-coffee drinkers. Now, maybe it's a low blow for Shiki Sai to get knocked out of today's competition simply because of its lack of a speedy breakfast option, or breakfast options period, but the entire Leal package, including its affordable prices and unique assortment of offerings, is enough for the DFB team to feel zero regret about their final decision. Winner, Leal. Can Summer House's pretzel bread pudding compete with the sheer amount of fresh caramel goodness oozing from within Caramel Kusha? As impressive as it would be to see pretzel bread pudding take down an entire caramel-focused shop, there's just not nearly enough caramel sauce drizzled across the pretzel bread to make this a fair fight. So, Caramel Kusha, welcome to the next round. You knew you'd be here. For the first time ever in a DFB bracket tournament, we're going to have to do a round 4 because there are so many restaurants in Epcot. So is the Epcot restaurant you've been rooting for still in the game? Get ready to do some major cheering because this round determines who gets to go to the semifinals. Again, let me reiterate that every single one of the choices from here on out in this video are going to be great choices for you on your Epcot day. So whatever wins or loses, just know that they're all winners in our book. I know that sounds overly complimentary, but it's true. We've knocked out a lot of restaurants so far in this competition. Okay, round 4, here we go. Beer Garden versus Garden Grill. So the entertainment value is high for these two, which makes our decision for who stays and who goes even more challenging. Beer Garden is that authentic German experience, authentic German foods, authentic German beer, including liters of beer, and authentic German performances. And this might be your go-to if you want to be entertained during your meal, but you don't necessarily want the character meet and greet aspect. Beer Garden is loud. It's a fun and boisterous atmosphere for sure, but the entertainment at Garden Grill might be better for those who want to book a table service to escape the chaos of their park day, not add to it. While Beer Garden does offer milder options like roasted chicken and mac and cheese, they don't have a whole lot of other choices beyond German cuisine that picky eaters might enjoy. So if you really want to get your money's worth from an all-you-care-to-enjoy restaurant, you may want to stick with the family-style service that offers heaping skillets of things like cornbread and turkey and potatoes and steak and, yep, mac and cheese topped with goldfish crackers over at Garden Grill. All of this is comfort food at both restaurants. There's definitely fun and entertaining situations happening at both. Your kids are probably going to love both. But it comes down to a question of characters versus, a German Oupon band. So Garden Grill is the winner today. Okay, the unique atmosphere argument for both of these restaurants, Akershus and Space 220, is out the window because both of these are one of a kind in their own special and highly immersive way. Now we gotta look at the food. Okay, since its grand opening back in 2021, Space 220 has switched up its offerings multiple times to add new entrees and apps and drinks and desserts to both its prefix menu and its a la carte menu. And yet, we still haven't found anything here that has left us going, I've gotta get back to Space 220 just so I can order that again. The Norwegian eats you're served at Akershus are a lot more interesting than what you'll receive in Space, ironically enough. And not to mention, if I pay $79 for dinner at Space 220, I get one appetizer, one entree, and one dessert with a view of space that's kind of looks like it could have been added to the Cosmic Rewind queue as something we'd walk past on our way to the pre-show. But if I pay $69 for dinner at Akershus, I get an endless amount of Norwegian entrees and sides and desserts, plus I get to meet characters like Snow White and Jasmine, Belle, Tiana, Princess Aurora, Cinderella, Ariel, all in a truly royal castle-like setting. When it comes to Disney, for Disney's sake, Akershus is definitely the winner here. Okay, this one's gonna hurt. Le Cava del Tequila versus Le Cellier. These are two AJ-approved favorites that go back to before I even started Disney Food Blog. Well, that's not true. Le Cava and Disney Food Blog are the same age. We were both born in 2009. But I guess you could kind of say I loved the margaritas in the Mexico Pavilion before I even started Disney Food Blog. Back before there was even Chosa de Margarita, there was that other little festival kiosk with the Fiesta margaritas, if you remember those. Anyway, I digress. Okay, I think we can agree that both of these locations are great places to do some celebrating or have a nice little date night with your loved one. Though with an advanced dining reservation at Le Cellier, you're going to do a better job of guaranteeing immediate seating at a table versus having to wait 30 to 40 minutes for a table to finally clear up over at Le Cava. And while Le Cava offers the best margaritas on property, which is saying something, I'm aware, but I'm standing by that, it's hard to compete with a place that offers the best steaks on property and the best poutine and the best Canadian cheddar cheese soup. So while it pains me to have to say goodbye to Le Cava before we get to the semifinals, Le Cellier was indeed a very hard opponent to beat. And I thought the last round was painful. Here we go again. Caramel Kusha is masterful at what it does. And what it does is create fresh caramel treats daily. But what happens if you're not a big caramel fan or you've already had something caramel specific that day and you're looking for something different? Caramel Kusha does caramel really, really well, but Leal does a variety of things really, really well. Not to mention, if you miss out on a visit to Caramel Kusha, there is the chance you'll find a couple of Werther's treats across other bakery display cases around Disney World property too. Not lying, they got those butter bars over at Boardwalk and Contemporary and even Magic Kingdom at Big Top Treats these days. So there are other places to get some of our Caramel Kusha favorites. But Leal has so many things that you're not going to get anywhere else, and they are scratch made right there in the kitchens at Leal every single day. There's nothing like fresh pastry first thing in the morning in EPCOT. So Leal is going to take the win here. Now, we've had to witness some great EPCOT restaurants eliminated from the competition when faced against stronger competitors, but we've finally made it to our top 4, which means it is time for the semifinals. All right, I knew this was going to come. We all knew this was going to come. We've got Garden Grill versus Le Cellier. Now, Garden Grill may not be as romantic as Le Cellier, nor will it be able to provide steaks that are so good they cut like butter and want to make you cry. But Garden Grill is going to do a much better job keeping your whole family entertained all meal long. Not to mention, if you got a plant-based eater in your group, there's not going to be a whole lot for them to choose from at a restaurant that specializes in steaks and grilled meats. But at Garden Grill, you can choose whether you want the regular Harvest Feast or if you want the plant-based Harvest Feast for your family to chow down on instead. Because of its ability to accommodate different age groups and dining preferences, and let me remind you, it spins around, Garden Grill is shaking things up by knocking Le Cellier out of today's competition. Farmer Mickey for the win. Now, this might feel like a major upset for some of you out there. It has been decided. Leal has a great spread of affordable pastries, but sweet and savory. It's going to fill you up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's going to satisfy both picky and non-picky eaters, and it's going to be one of the best options to eat while you're on the go, aside from EPCOT's festival booth snacks, of course. Plus, let's remind ourselves of the incredible affordability of Leal. It's just wild to find the authentic and high-quality treats you can find here at the prices. And yet, Akershus guarantees you a seat in the AC. Not just any seat, a seat within a castle setting while princesses come up to your table to chat and take pictures. The breakfast, lunch, and dinner offerings here are adventurous and may even convince kiddos to try something totally new that they wouldn't have been brave enough to try otherwise. And one of the biggest selling points for Akershus, a point that'll be super tough to beat, is the fact that it'll give your family a similar Cinderella's Royal Table experience for a cheaper price tag and less competition for those advanced dining reservations. While food is happily consumed at Leal, memories are made at Akershus, which is why Akershus Royal Banquet Hall is now officially a finalist for EPCOT's Best Restaurant Showdown. All right, in the end, it all comes down to EPCOT's 2 and only 2 family-style character dining experiences park-wide. Garden Grill isn't going to give you a super unique, super adventurous spread of endless eats like Akershus will provide. Most of the stuff you'll dine on at Garden Grill is familiar comfort food favorites, which you might not be searching for when you're visiting a park that has a heavy emphasis on international cuisine. And yet, let's not forget that EPCOT's main focus isn't solely dining around the world. It's also promoting harvest, using fresh resources, and practicing environmentally conscious gardening techniques to keep Earth's greenery and natural food sources alive and kicking. I can hear the song now. So while Garden Grill doesn't necessarily have adventurous eats, what you're being served is as fresh as it gets, with fruits and veggies coming straight from the Living with the Land greenhouses downstairs. Not to mention, the quality of the eats served at Garden Grill is superb. Familiar or not, even more adventurous palates are going to enjoy the unique takes on the comfort classics here. And while there are a few castle-like dining experiences you can choose from around Disney World, you're not going to find a restaurant that literally moves during your meal anywhere else. So the winner of today's massive tournament to find out the best restaurant in all of EPCOT is Garden Grill. And reminder, I wasn't the only one to make this choice. The whole DFP team was in on this. So you can come for me in the comments if you want, but this is still a great restaurant. This was a whirlwind and a blast. Thank you for being on this journey with me. There have been tears, there's been laughter, so much emotion. It was a major undertaking, but I'm hoping y'all just had as much fun watching as we had creating. And please give your props to Bria, who had to basically research this whole thing with our team. Give your props to our team too, who had to come up with some very, very difficult answers to these questions. Now make sure to catch up with our other Disney World bracketing tournaments when you get the chance. Don't forget to pick up our free DFP Best Disney World Snack Guide too over at disneyfoodblog.com/best snacks. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.